Hi, my name is Danielle Nowak. I am the Access Services Librarian at the Sterling Morton Library and a member of the Chicago Open Archives planning team. We are here today to talk about past and future Chicago Open Archives participants. Today I'm here with Meg Hall, who is the Director of Archives and Records Center of the Archdiocese of Chicago. So hi, Meg. Thank you for being with us here today.
Hi, thanks, Danielle. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So just to start off, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. Yeah, I'm the director of the Archdiocese of Chicago Archives and Records Center. As you mentioned earlier, I've been there about 10 years. And we are the historical archive and the repository for all of the inactive records of the diocese. So that includes the closed parishes, closed schools, all of the offices that work for the administration, legal, facilities, school's office, all those folks send us their inactive files. And we also have all of the historical records for the diocese too. So all of the Archbishop's correspondence dating back to 1844, a lot of parish anniversary books. We have the parish newspaper, the Archdiocese newspaper, all of the photographs that went into the newspaper, decrees, press releases, all kinds of stuff that give you a good sense of what the activity of the diocese has been for about 170 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what does your general audience look like?
Well, most of our audience is internal, or at least that's how I think about what our audience should be. We're sort of an inward-facing organization, I would say. So most of the clients I try and drag in are parishioners from open parishes, former parishioners of closed parishes, current students for high schools, grammar schools, teachers of our open schools. I try and get them in to use our collections, incorporate them into their history classes, their church history classes, their Chicago history classes. And I try and do a lot with the parishes, to be honest. So I'm always excited when parishes are celebrating an anniversary of some kind. Then we invite them over to our facility. We can show them what we've got. I've found that some parishes and schools don't even know that the diocese has an archives, and so we think about doing internal outreach. So we don't do as much with the outside community, I would say, not as much as someone like who would work in a museum or a university or some other kind of public institution. Since we are a private organization, we do focus a little bit more on our internal customers. But there's still a lot of them. There's 2 million Catholics in the Archdiocese, and all of them are potential researchers and users of our collections.
Okay, and as a past participant of the Chicago Open Archives, can you tell us a little bit about that experience and how that kind of affected your archive?
Sure, yeah. So, like I said, I've been at the Archives and Records Center in the Archdiocese for 10 years, but I've only been the director for the last 3. And as long as I had been there, we hadn't participated in Archives Month or Chicago Open Archives. I know it's still relatively new. I signed up to work on the committee. I was excited about it. And with the theme Hidden Stories, we used some documents that we had that help genealogists answer their own questions about their own hidden stories. So one of the things that we get a lot are questions from genealogists about their own family history. So where did my great-grandmother get baptized in 1863? Or I have a picture of this priest. He was my great-uncle. What can you tell me about him? And so we used some of our collections, some directories and photographs and collections about historical religious orders and, records like that. And we used those resources to show genealogists how they could answer their own questions about their own genealogy. And I think this year I would redirect to think more about having a more internal audience. So I didn't promote it as much to the administration as I think I should have. I think that I'm sort of rethinking our archives and our place and who our audience really should be. And I think at this time last year, I was thinking about the world and I was thinking about scholars and outside researchers and genealogists. And this year, I'm thinking more about our own internal clients. So I think this year, if it works out, I'll do more promotion within the diocese. So try and get communications involved and do more outreach to the parishes and schools, even if they can't come, to at least let them know we are an archive. Here's, we're part of a large community. Here's what we're doing to promote our collections.
Okay, and so also for this year, do you plan on using anything special from the archive, or?
I'm still sort of playing around with some ideas. I know this is the 200th anniversary of Illinois, right? Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking about doing maybe was highlighting some of the documents we have when we were commemorating the 300th anniversary of the expedition of Marquette and Joliet. So the original expedition was in 1673, and in 1973, the Archdiocese, the Archbishop, there was a big event, and they went down to the river, and there was a mass and a celebration, and we have a bunch of the planning records and little pamphlets and visual documentation and all kinds of interesting stuff about that. So I thought that was one way to bring in some Illinois history and how the Archdiocese has celebrated it in the past.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And do you have any advice for people that are interested in participating?
Yeah, I think especially since last year I didn't promote it as much as I should have, I would say think about who you really want to come to your event. And if who you want to come to your event is just the people you work with, that's fine. It's fine. Don't feel like you have to do crazy amounts of outreach. Don't feel like you have to really put yourself out. This is supposed to be a fun way to promote your collections to a select number of people that you think are important. And if the people you think are important are just, 7 people that work within your organization, then by all means try and get those people to come, and don't feel dejected if you don't get the whole world at your doorstep, banging down, trying to get to look at your collections. That's what I would say.
All right, Meg, thank you so much for being here today with us.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Chicago Area Archivists COA podcast. We would like to thank Chicago Area Archivists, Chicago Open Archives Planning Committee, engineer Allison Shine Holmes, and WFMT for their time and effort.